In their homeland that the leprechauns called Tir na Nog, darkness came as softly as someone flipping up your hoodie. My partner, Lily, a rust-coloured wolfhound, was at my side. She shook off the last dampness of the river of gloom, which we left in our wake. Lily is the size of a Shetland pony, but 10 times more lovable. We had passed into the place that smells like feet, which I had just named for reasons that are obvious. There is no sense of time in the land of the fairy folk. The wee folk just call every day Non's Day. I looked up and saw that the sky was full of the leprechaun constellations, as it was what we would call nighttime back in the human Republic of Ireland. Tir na Nog is its own dominion, with its own weather systems and even its own laws of physics. For example, in the Cluricon towns called the Floating Lakes, the gravitational pull is up. The residents have gotten used to it, but it makes the few humans who have visited barf, which is the non-Scottish word for boke. Tir na Nog has its own firmament of stars that has no relation to human astrology. Orion the Hunter, the Big Dipper, all those classics. Under the violent leprechaun separatists Queen Mora with the world's most interesting forehead, the leprechauns rearranged their constellations into shapes that they find hilarious. The leprechaun sense of humour is depraved. Major figures in their night sky are Unicorn picking its nose, Queen Moira ripping a humongous toot, and the one by which sailors in the Leprechaun Royal Navy steer their ships, somebody's butt with an eyeball in the crack, sometimes called Cyclops' eyeball butt. Leprechauns are the worst. I stopped to check my bootlaces, which were tangled like those garlic bulb thingies that hang in Italian restaurants. During the past few stressful days in North Ifron, I had been nervously adding knot upon knot to my special unit boots, which are designed to withstand the bite of a medium-power leprechaun. It would take a brain surgeon to cut me out of these. Lily and I were headed towards something called the Very Shortcut, which leads from the Undernog all the way to the lower slopes of the unpronounceable volcano, which is just a few days' journey down Nog from the seat of the leprechaun royal family, Ifigtown. In a vastsack and my sporran was a team of Ouija's, the corrupt leprechaun police force. A vastsack is a special unit evidence bag that has a huge interior compartment, but is tiny on the outside. This one looked like a Roscommon Football Club souvenir coin purse. In my vastsack with the Ouija's was an old Irish god called Crum Crauch, who I had turned from alive to no longer alive with a terrific poke in the heart from my very nice umbrella. My mission was to turn over these corrupt wee folk to the leprechaun king who resides in the royal palace at Ifigtown, the capital of Tir na Nog. I have never met a leprechaun royal, or even a human royal, except for the guy in Galway who calls himself the king of hassle-free mobile phones. Upon closing this case, I would then return to the human Republic of Ireland with Crum Crauch, the no longer alive bog mummy, where he could be safely encased in the National Museum, Dublin, and perhaps the plaque beside his case would make some mention of the clever boy Ronan Boyle, who brought him to justice with the help of Lily, the world's bravest wolfhound. Me parents had been framed for the theft of the bogman by a pointy art dealer known as Lord Desmond Dooley, but they had recently escaped the Mountjoy prison along with their prison gangs, which I had said was a bad idea at the time. My parents are museum types, but when you fall in with a prison gang like they did, you're definitely going to get peer pressured. Currently, my parents' whereabouts are unknown. I don't like to use the word escapees, as it looks bad on their resumes, but technically, that is exactly what they are. My unofficial mentor and occasional partner, Captain de Valera, was recovering back at Special Unit Headquarters in Killarney after our violent dust-up in North Ifron. So Lily and I were on our own for now, but I could feel that we were in the home stretch. Just a quick little jaunt through this famous shortcut and easy peasy I'd be sitting back at Dobro's Pizza in Galway, telling this whole affair to Dolores, my hilarious guardian, and the best rockabilly fiddle player you will ever meet in the human Republic of Ireland. Compared to the mayhem back in North Ifron, this next bit was going to be a lark.